Hey, I wanted to share a quote from the book The People of the Lie by M. Scott Peck. And he says, "To come to terms with evil in one's parentage is perhaps the most difficult and painful psychological task a human being can be called to face." And I thought that was pretty powerful because he's actually like a psychiatrist or psychologist. Yeah, he's a psychiatrist. So that means something coming from him. So this is the book, People of the Lie, and I highly recommend it. It's a really, really fascinating book. And I just wanted to share that in case you're feeling, I don't know, like you should be doing better than you are, which I've said to myself a bajillion times. But we are literally dealing with the most difficult task a human can be psychologically called to face. Think about that. There's nothing more challenging that you can encounter psychologically than having to come to grips with the fact that your parents are evil and lie to you and your entire life has been a lie. There's nothing more psychologically challenging than that. So then I was wondering, what next? You know, obviously we face that, but then we're still kind of not recovered, you know? Like, it's one thing to face it and it's something else to feel like you're a normal person again. And I think that the kind of second most difficult task after realizing that your parents are evil is learning to trust people again, or for the first time, really. I guess you trusted your parents when you were an infant and then they, you know, betrayed you that early on. So learning to trust people again is going to require you to go through all the trauma, and that's why it's so difficult. You can't just trust people without uncovering all those layers of, like, all the lies that you've told yourself, that you deserve to be abused and that you're worthless and that you're bad and people are scary and every other belief that was totally valid to have. But if we want to move on and feel like we're a normal person who can trust people and love people and be loved, then we're going to have to go through all the trauma that brought us to the place that we're at. But the good news is that the body does want to heal itself, and the emotional component and psychological component of us wants to heal itself as well. So you're not working against yourself. Like, the task is really to let go and surrender to the point where your being can just heal itself, because really staying in trauma is about us resisting the healing. It's not that we need to make the healing happen, it's that we need to stop resisting the healing that is already trying to happen. And the reason we resist it is because the healing is painful, and maybe we don't know that we're healing, so we think that everything's getting worse. Like when you go no contact and maybe your PTSD gets worse and you have memories that you didn't have before, and the anxiety gets worse and the fear gets worse, and you might have anger really for the first time in your life, and you're like, whoa, this is so much worse. I was semi-happier back when I was being abused. But that's just because everything's getting squished down. So the healing process can seem worse than being in the abusive situation, because you're finally feeling everything that you were not allowing yourself to feel while you're in the abusive situation. But ultimately, healing will feel better in the end once you've, you know, released it. I see it as like we squished it down and then it needs to come out, and when it comes out, it's gonna feel just as bad as when it happened for the first time. Like, the anxiety, the fear, the anger is gonna be strong. It could be like super strong to the point where you're just like, I'm gonna die if I feel this. But you won't. You are capable of feeling whatever it is, and you will feel better, like, as soon as you just say, okay, I'm gonna feel this. With the anger, I found it really helpful to, like, exercise. I feel like that, like, burns it off. But just figure out, you know, whatever works for you. But we need to feel it. It's the only way to really feel like a whole person. But yeah, I just want to share the book and that quote, and to tell you that it's okay if you're struggling and it's taking you like years to go no contact or low contact, or you've gone back. I think I heard the average person goes back 7 times to an abusive relationship. I think I heard that from Inner Integration. That's crazy. That's a lot. I mean, so don't be upset with yourself if you've gone back. Like, this is completely normal to have a lot of trouble dissolving these trauma bonds. Like, they're really strong, especially when it's your family, or a marriage or something where you thought you were like in it for life, and now you're having to face the fact that you're gonna have to walk away. So I'm interested to hear what you think the biggest challenge is in recovery, and if you agree with this idea that this may be the hardest thing that a human may ever have to do. And thanks for watching.